Being a food animal technician, I help the clinicians here and producers when they bring their animals to keep them healthy with regular health checks and vaccination protocols. And I've been here for 25 years. I was in equine for the first 10 years, and then I moved over here to food animal. We've had recently, actually, last couple of Mondays are just crazy and kind of like a fast pace. The adrenaline gets to going. It gets a little hectic at times because you're trying to get everybody in the right spots where they're supposed to go. But if they're at least following orders or doing what they're supposed to do, then yeah, I feel like it helps the day to go by faster. And by the end of the day, it's a big sigh, but it was like, actually did something productive today. Maybe, hopefully, had some good outcomes on some of those emergencies. Sometimes, if a client can bring them in, we'll tell them to bring them, especially if they don't have a chute system at home, because usually, working with cattle, you have to definitely have them restrained well, as opposed to if there's a bunch of cows that you have to go see, it's just easier to go to the farm. Really, my favorite thing to do is go and help clients work their cows, and kind of a fast pace to some degree. Being outside and smelling the smells, it's just probably one of my favorite things to do. I was at Northwestern because I'd gone into business administration first, and I was in my third semester of college, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to sit in front of a computer all day. And so I looked through the catalog, and they actually had a vet tech program, and so I'm like, well, all of that looked good, and I took it from there. And I've always had animals, and I've always had the love for the horses and cows. It's just in my soul. My grandma says I get it from her. So I did the 2-year program at Northwestern, and then I came here to do my internship. There was a technician that was leaving in equine, and they offered me a job, and I'm like, heck yeah, I wanted to try it. So here I am, 25 years later, still here. It's better to work cows. I know a lot of times they come to the clinics as a single, and so taking them away from their herd, they're kind of already on guard and kind of watching because they're herd animals. And so a lot of times they might come in and they might be scared to death. They don't mean to hurt you, but because they're so much bigger than you, you kind of have to just know where everything is, look for, once you send them somewhere, make sure there's no way out, that they're retained wherever they might head or go. And most of the time, like my favorite's the rodeo bulls. That adrenaline gets to going and they're snorting and they might be pawing, but it's so much fun to work on them because you can touch them maybe and they'll be calm, but then they might, just blow up and snort and try to bust in the chute open. So just me being around them, putting a halter on their heads when they're throwing their heads and just being crazy, and people are like, I can't believe she's touching that animal. I'm like, yeah, that's what I like. It can be sad sometimes. They're dependent on you. The client's dependent on you to hopefully get him back to life, but sometimes that doesn't always work out. So this is a hospital just like any other hospital, whether it's human or animals. Most of them go into the food chain, but some of them don't, and they are loved. So we see both sides.